Hi learners, welcome back to my YouTube channel Psychology Globe. I am Simran. So in the last video we discussed classical conditioning. So naturally today we are going to proceed further and today we are going to discuss operant conditioning. So before we discuss operant conditioning, I want to tell you all that I have discussed learning in brief in the last video. So if you have not watched the video on classical conditioning, please go and watch it. Now let's start. So before we discuss operant conditioning as a whole, first let's understand the meaning of the word operant. So operant refers to any behavior, any response which is under our control, which is our voluntary mechanism. So voluntary mechanism could be anything. It could be studying, it could be walking, it could be eating. So all these are the examples of voluntary actions. Now voluntary actions 99.9% of the time they have a purpose. We don't act voluntarily without any purpose. For example, if I am studying, I could have various purposes. I may be studying to top the class, I may be studying just to pass the exam, I may be studying just because I am scared of my parents, just because I am scared of my teachers. So one task could have numerous purposes behind it. So all these purposes, they are known as the reinforcers. Reinforcers refers to anything which either makes us do something or stops us from doing something. So now we are going to discuss operant conditioning with the help of an experiment which was developed by B.F. Skinner. So who was B.F. Skinner? B.F. Skinner was an American psychologist and he was a behaviorist. So I will explain the behaviorist school in very brief. So behaviorist school of psychology was the school which said that psychology should only study overt behavior. Overt behavior is the one which is visible to us. It said that we should not focus on anything which is present in our unconscious mind, which was later brought about by psychoanalysts. So we will not talk about the pros and cons of this school. So we will straight away move to the experiment. So what B.F. Skinner did was, he took a box and he caged a hungry rat in it, and the box had a lever. So it had a huge lever which was attached to a box which had food pellets for the rat. So since the rat was hungry, the motive of the rat was to get food, and he was also attracted by the smell of the food pellets. So he was moving to and fro in the cage and he accidentally pressed the lever. So he got the food. So the food acted as a reinforcement. So now he again started moving to and fro in the box and he again accidentally pressed the lever, and then again the food pellet fell in the box. So this was repeated many times, and then the rat learnt simultaneously that on pressing the lever he is going to get the food. So his motive was food, but in this process of getting the food, he has learned that only if he presses the lever, then only he is going to get the food pellets. So we have learned from the B.F. Skinner experiment that whatever we learn, it always has a purpose. We are always driven by a motive. So now let's understand the factors that work behind operant conditioning. The first factor is types of reinforcement. So this is quite simple to understand. There are two kinds of reinforcement, positive and negative. Positive is when you reward someone for committing a particular action, and negative is when you punish someone for doing a particular action. For example, if you have to develop the habit of eating green vegetables in a child, then maybe you could reward them with a toffee or a chocolate after they finish their food. So this is a kind of positive reinforcement. Negative reinforcement is when you scold your children after they misbehave. So this will be negative reinforcement. Next is schedules of reinforcement. Schedules of reinforcement means how often the person is rewarded or how often a person is punished for a particular action. The more the often the reinforcement will be given, the more will be the learning. Next is delayed reinforcement. Delayed reinforcement basically means, now let's get back to Skinner's experiment. If the rat presses the lever and he gets food every time he presses the lever, but he gets it after half an hour, then the learning will be slow, because the distance between the action and the reinforcement in terms of time, it has increased. Last is number of reinforcement and other features. So there are a lot of other features that are going to influence your learning. For example, if someone comes to me and offers me a toffee for doing a certain action, then maybe I will not agree, because a toffee or a chocolate as a reinforcement, as an adult, it is very less for me. So definitely I will not take any action even if I am being given that reinforcement on a daily basis. So this was all about the factors that affect operant conditioning. I'll be coming up with another videos very soon. Thank you. Take care.